berganti dan luruh. Bayang yang berserang terang di ujung sana, yang patah tumbuh, yang hilang berganti, yang hancur lebur akan terobati, yang sia-sia akan jadi makna yang terus berulang. Suatu saat henti, yang pernah jatuh kan berdiri lagi, yang patah tumbuh, yang hilang berganti. Depan teras rumah, fana merah jambu, ku berdua, momen-momen tak palsu, air Tuhan turun, aromamu tersalurkan, aliran syaraf utuh mertintuan, media pembuka, berdansa sore hariku, sejiwa alam dan duniamu, melebur sifat kakuku.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, selamat siang semuanya. Terima kasih atas ketersediaannya untuk menghadiri chapter machine learning hari ini. Di mana pada chapter kali ini kita akan dipimpin oleh Bang Eka. Gimana Bang Eka?
Ya, mungkin untuk chapter pertama ini untuk introduction, ntar mungkin sama saya, nanti mungkin untuk next-nya, ntar sama ini ya, sama Maula ya, Rizky Maula. Mungkin tambahan ya, untuk chapter sekarang ini, di sesi introduction ini, kalau dari pendaftarannya itu ada 12 mahasiswa asing sebenarnya, ada 12 mahasiswa asing, jadi semisal nanti mereka masuk, kita coba rubah pakai bahasa Inggris ya. Kita coba rubah bahasa Inggris, karena untuk yang tanggal 28 itu kan kita undang orang Jepang ya ke Indonesia buat jadi speakernya salah satunya. Nah, mereka itu minta di-invite di salah satu event kita kayak gitu. Jadi ini mungkin kalau ada mahasiswa asing, kita coba langsung gunakan untuk bahasa Inggris ya, seperti itu. Kurang lebih ada 12 orang ya nanti ya. Kurang lebih 12 orang, 7 dari Jepang, ya 7 dari Jepang, 5 itu dari Thailand. Ya, kayak gitu sih mungkin.
Ya, oke Bang. Dan diberitahukan kepada seluruh partisipan untuk yang tidak berhalangan untuk dapat mengaktifkan kameranya. Ya. Baik, untuk seluruh partisipan untuk dapat mengaktifkan kameranya, kita akan berfoto terlebih dahulu. Diharapkan untuk semuanya on kamera.
Wih, Naga Tunggal di mana tuh Mas Naga? Mana Naga Tunggal ya, online off lagi kameranya Naga. Baru sampai banget, maaf. Oke, slow Naga. Ini tak kira awalnya bercanda tau namanya Naga Tunggal, ternyata emang namanya Naga gitu kan. Kayak terinspirasi dari Dragon Ball nggak sih namanya Naga Tunggal?
Mantap. Anti mainstream, Bang.
Oke. Oke, ini yang lain ada yang mau on cam lagi silakan, masih ditunggu. Oh ini ya Kevin ya yang chat saya ya, Kevin Wiratama.
Iya, Kak.
Oke, sip.
Oh iya, diinformasikan kembali bagi yang dapat mengaktifkan virtual background bisa dipakai, di mana virtual background-nya ada di grup WA. Dan bagi yang tidak bisa ya nggak apa-apa.
Jam 3 ya?
Baik,
Setengah 4 ya?
kita mulai buat yang slide yang pertama ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Kemudian untuk slide yang kedua, 1, 2, 3. Oke, terima kasih. Oh iya Bang nih, Bang. Mau tanya Bang, kira-kira ada spilan nggak nih buat pembelajaran hari ini? Mau ngapain aja gitu?
Boleh. Sebetulnya ada satu sih yang mau di-mention itu, saya hampir aja lupa saya tuh. Kita itu ada sedikit perubahan ya, jadi ada perubahan rules. Jadi setiap sesi workshop, ini kan maksudnya sesi workshop ya, kayak machine learning, database itu kan sesi workshop. Nah, di setiap sesi workshop itu nanti kita bakal ada semacam quest ya, tugas. Tapi tugasnya ini bukan apa ya, maksudnya jangan dibayanginnya mungkin kayak mungkin hampir sama kayak praktikum, tapi nggak ada laporan sih. Yang penting cuma ngerjain apa ya, ngerjain projectnya aja gitu, small project kecil-kecilan kayak gitu ya. Nanti hasil dari projectnya tuh kalau misalkan mencapai target dapat poin. Nah, nanti yang mengerjakan walaupun nggak mencapai target dapat poin juga gitu. Nah, mungkin poinnya yang membedakan nggak sempurna gitu aja sih. Nanti di masa akhir GDSC tahun depan ya kita bakal ada best graduated student. Jadi ada lulusan apa ya? Ada mahasiswa terbaik di program GDSC gitu. Ntar kan kita ada chapter machine learning, database, sama kan IoT ya rencananya ya, ada IoT, IoT lagi apa? IT network. Nanti kalau misalkan emang saya bisa buat ngisi data science, saya coba ngisi data science. Nanti kita lihat mendukung nggak waktunya gitu. Cuman di 3 chapter itu kita coba untuk adakan best graduate apa ya, maksudnya kayak lulusan terbaik gitu, maksudnya mahasiswa terbaik di program ini siapa aja gitu, dan nanti tuh ada yang umum, jadi kayak dari tiga-tiganya itu siapa yang paling apa ya, yang paling wow gitu tuh secara kemampuannya gitu. Dan istilahnya mulai tahun depan itu kan seleksi core team itu seleksi ya. Mungkin untuk tahun ini kalian belum bisa daftar core team karena memang sifatnya kita masih fokusnya membangun core team buat di masa yang akan datang. Maksudnya buat di tahun ke depan kayak gitu. Nanti di tahun depan yang best graduate, yang lulusan terbaik itu silahkan kamu masuk langsung diterima di core team di periode selanjutnya ketika ada GDSC kayak gitu. Jadi itu salah satu benefitnya yang pertama. Dan yang kedua pastinya ada pengakuan sertifikat ya. Dari sertifikat nanti kita coba ajukan ke faculty advisor kita kayak gitu. Jadi itu juga memberikan satu poin keuntungan buat teman-teman kayak gitu ya. Jadi itu ya newsnya, infonya. Nah, kalau yang pelajarin apa aja, sebenarnya untuk hari ini kita masih basic machine learning ya. Kita masih basic machine learning, cuman harapan saya teman-teman standby di laptop ya, karena nanti kita pakai Colab ya, pakai Google Colab. Tapi kalau ada yang punya Jupyter juga boleh dipakai ya, Jupyter Notebook boleh dipakai. Cuman kalau saya pakai ntar Colab ya, supaya bisa langsung di-share nanti ya ke teman-teman setelah selesai kegiatan kayak gitu. Nanti saya share di grup atau di Zoom chat deh. Segimana nanti anaknya aja seperti itu. Gitu, Rizky ya. Kita masih basic aja buat machine learning-nya, cuman mungkin arahnya lebih ke arah image ya buat hari ini ya.
Oke Bang, siap Bang.
Oke.
Menurut Abang ini yang chapter sekarang yang dipelajari bakalan rumit atau enggak sih Bang?
Rumit atau enggak ya? Sebenarnya kalau dibilang rumit, mungkin kalau ini kan karena berhubung teman-teman dari IF sama elektro ya, kayaknya sih nggak ada yang dari TI juga sebagian, mungkin nggak ini sih nggak terlalu apa ya, nggak terlalu pusing gitu tuh, karena yang penting nanti paham flow-nya aja kayak gitu. Cuman mungkin untuk mahamin apa ya, mungkin akan ada beberapa library yang mungkin masih asing gitu kalau teman-teman belum pernah masuk ke machine learning gitu, kayak misalkan TensorFlow kelas keras gitu tuh, mungkin nanti kita sambil ongoing aja nggak apa deh, sambil nanya-nanya kayak gitu tuh. Paling di situ sih susahnya, mungkin di library-nya mungkin yang masih umum gitu. Mungkin kalau di bahasa C atau yang biasa main di PHP di web ya, kemarin juga ada yang main di web kalau nggak salah tuh, pas lagi sesi info session tuh ya, ada yang cerita main di web. Ya sebenarnya mungkin agak beda ya sama codingan web ya. Karena kalau untuk codingan machine learning itu ibaratnya kayak kita bikin model nanti ya. Kayak kita bikin model, dan model itu kita pakai buat ngeprediksi kayak gitu tuh. Kalau web tuh kan istilahnya kayak kita nge-coding tapi itu buat interface gitu tuh. Interface dan ada back end service-nya atau proses di belakang layarnya kayak gitu. Jadi itu sih perbedaannya sih mungkin. Kimau.
Oke, siap Bang. Jadi kita mulai aja kali ya sekarang.
Boleh.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang semuanya. Yang terhormat kepada Wakil Dekan bidang Wakil Dekan, Mr. Profesor Dr. Insinyur Supriyanto, STMSC IPM, dan yang terhormat dan yang kami hormati yaitu Bapak Ibu dosen Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, dan yang kami hormati yaitu seluruh partisipan pada virtual session hari ini. Perkenalkan, nama saya Rizky Maula sebagai moderator pada learning session hari ini, di mana learning session hari ini akan membahas terkait pengenalan ke machine learning. Nah, di mana learning session hari ini akan dipimpin oleh Bang Eka, atau nama panjangnya Muhammad Eka Setia Aji, di mana dia ini sebagai leader Google Developer Student Club di Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa yang memiliki spesialisasi di bidang machine learning. Nah, Bang Eka juga memiliki banyak sekali pengalaman di bidang machine learning. Salah satunya itu berhasil lulus di program magang di BRIN dengan judul penelitian yaitu Infrared Image Analysis for Human Face Recognition. Kemudian dengan judul ini pula, Bang Eka menjadi pembicara di sebuah konferensi yaitu International Conference on Computing of and Informatics, dan di lain konferensi dengan menggunakan judul Performance Evaluation for Infrared Face Recognition using Convolutional Neural Network, Bang Eka juga jadi pembicara di International Conference on Informatics, Electrical and Electronic. Oke, sebelum kita mulai jalannya presentasi, saya akan menginformasikan apa saja yang akan dilaksanakan pada saat presentasi. Di mana yang pertama yaitu presentasi materi, yang kedua yaitu sesi tanya jawab, dan yang ketiga yaitu kesimpulan. Nah, sekarang saya akan menyambut Bang Eka untuk mempresentasikan materinya. Waktu dan tempat dipersilakan.
Oke, baik. Makasih sebelumnya buat Rizky Maula yang udah membuka jalan acara dan mempersilahkan saya. Oke, ini saya cek, mungkin saya akan rajin ngecek sambil ini ya, karena saya khawatir ada yang dari luar, langsung coba untuk ganti untuk bahasa Inggris ya. Masih aman ya, Rizky ya? Belum ada ya?
Masih aman, Bang?
Belum ada ya, oke. Soalnya ngechat tadi bisa sih katanya dia. Oke, nggak apa, kita langsung mulai aja. Nah, saya share screen dulu. Sebentar. Oke, udah kelihatan ya. Nah, oke. Nah, baik, saya buka terlebih dahulu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang semuanya. Terima kasih yang sudah meluangkan waktunya untuk hadir dalam kegiatan workshop ya di sesi machine learning ya. Mungkin kita tema untuk hari ini Introduction to Machine Learning. Idealnya untuk hari ini itu sebenarnya kita ada broad speaker ya yang udah saya mention tadi. Jadi ntar kalau misalkan memang ada attendance dari luar, ada broad attendance, nanti mungkin bisa langsung mention saya aja atau bisa speak up supaya nanti langsung kita rubah ke bahasa Inggris kayak gitu ya. Oke, jadi untuk pertemuan pertama ini diisi oleh saya, nama saya Muhammad Eka Setiaji, saya dari program studi Teknik Elektro ya, saya angkatan 2019, dan konsentrasi saya itu KTK. Mungkin kalau teman-teman yang masih belum tahu apa itu KTK, intinya KTK tuh lebih dekat ke arah informatika seperti itu ya, karena dulu saya bermimpi masuk informatika, tapi ternyata Tuhan tidak mengizinkan gitu. Mungkin saya lebih cocoknya masuknya di elektro, jadi ya sudahlah ya. Saya terima apa adanya, terima nasib aja ya seperti itu. Nah, untuk sesi yang pertama ini, untuk introduction to machine learning, sebetulnya saya ada satu video dulu ya. Ini sebenarnya masih umum. Nanti saya coba teman-teman untuk lihat terlebih dahulu supaya kita ada gambaran kira-kira machine learning itu sebenarnya seperti apa sih, seperti itu.
Bang,
Mungkin
Maika,
video dalam bahasa Inggris ya.
itu ada Yumiko, Bang.
Halo, Yumiko.
Hello.
Hello, is you there? Okay. So, how many people from Japan will be joining this event?
For this event, I haven't reached out to that many people, so probably really individually, maybe like 2 or 3, so not that many.
Okay, good. Because we have also participants from Thailand. Yeah, we have 3 persons, but I was give for the link to them, but until now they are not joined in this event. So I will try to continue. Okay. So I just start the presentation. So it is just about introduction to machine learning. We have a video about machine learning. The video is in English, so I hope everyone can enjoy this video. I will play this video.
As technology evolves and the world's population grows, so does the amount of data being generated. Collecting, sorting, and analyzing all of this data can be pretty time-consuming. However, that's starting to change with the emergence of something called machine learning. Machine learning is a type of computer science that allows computer programs to learn and improve all on their own. In the past, computers could only do what we programmed them to do. But with machine learning, they can behave like humans and gain knowledge based on their past experiences. This process can get pretty complicated, but here's how it works on a basic level. Let's say we want a program that can tell the difference between apples and bananas. First, we'll give it some labeled pictures of each. The program will then look for patterns in the fruits and start to remember them. It can then use these memories to look at unlabeled pictures of apples and bananas and determine which is which, all on its own. Believe it or not, you probably encounter machine learning on a daily basis. Social media sites use it to create your feed based on your preferences, and search engines use it to improve the accuracy of their search results. It's also being used on a larger scale. The medical industry is applying machine learning to things like predicting lifespans, organizing patient data, and even diagnosing certain diseases. As with many emerging technologies, there's a concern that machine learning may eliminate certain jobs. This will vary from industry to industry, but it does have the potential to get rid of or change a number of occupations, including drivers, bankers, and potentially even certain doctors. While it may have some negative effects, many believe that its positive applications will outweigh them.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
Okay, so that is about the introduction for machine learning by this video. So all of us will know what is machine learning. So basically, machine learning is this is like an algorithm. They can make a structure for algorithm how to predict an image. Is this an apple or is this a bananas? So I think machine learning is very complexibility programming language because this is run in Python programming, and then the architecture for build machine learning also it can be built in Python, C#, and other programming language. But in this session, we will discuss about introduction to machine learning, but we are just only using Python. But if you are not have Python in your laptop, you can access by Google Colaboratory or Google Colab. So I will next. Okay, maybe one of my core team can share the link of Teachable Machine. We will try to how machine learning can be works and how to build your machine learning to be first. But in this session about Teachable Machine, we are not having a code. We don't have any code in here. We just like we insert a data set, and then you can build your machine learning, your first machine learning. So you can open up this link. Thank you, Gilang, for sharing the link. Okay, so this is the Teachable Machine. In this page, you will have image project, audio project, and post project. Because we are focused on image project, you can choose the images. And then you have two options. First is standard image model, and the second is embedded image model. What the difference between the options? First, the standard image is focused on more higher of image, or this is like more bigger of the pixel of the image. But for the embedded image model, this is concentrated and this is focused on the development of microcontroller like Raspberry Pi and other microcomputer, because they process the image in grayscale image, but in a standard image model, it can be processed color image. So we will choose standard image model, and then you have a class 2 and class 1. And for the first time, I will turn off the camera, and then you can give the name for the class 1 is, for example, my name is Eka, and I will give the name is Eka. And then for the class 2, really I don't know, I will use any object in my room, so I will use my handphone. Okay. You can write anything. For me, I will write my name and my smartphone. So you can activate the webcam. Just click in this area, and your face is will be there. And for record the data, you just only need to click the hold to record. Okay, we just need 30 image. Okay, this is enough. And then you go to the class 2 or for me is handphone, and you record this. So this is my phone. Okay, seems like that. We need 30 image. Okay, this is not equal. In handphone we have 32 of image, and in Eka we have 36 of image sample. It's okay. This is not a problem because we just start how to build machine learning for the first time. And then you can click advanced. For the epoch, you will be set on 50, and batch size is 16, and learning rate is no option change in this advanced model. You need to click train model. Okay, now we need to wait when the training model is a process. So it just maybe for 1 minute. Okay. Okay, and then you will have a preview model like this. Okay, when my face is in here, Eka will be represent 100%. But if I put my points here, so yeah. Okay, so the machine learning works is like this. It can be predict is this Eka or is this a handphone or anything else you use for the object of the class. You can use bottle, or you can use your pillow, or maybe your cats if you have animals in your home. Okay, so this is the machine learning, especially maybe in image processing. Okay, this is a teachable machine, can be a produce model also. So you can export the model. Okay, you have a TensorFlow GS for website, or you have a TensorFlow model. This is format is H5, and you will be have TensorFlow Lite. It can be supporting in smartphone. Okay, and then I will go back to my slide. Okay, I will excuse me. I'm sorry, I just forget input cameras on. Okay, we'll back to the slide. Okay, so after we try about machine learning for the first time using teachable machine, and then what the idea of machine learning if you are using a real data set. Okay, in this session I will use rock, paper, and scissors of data set. You can obtain this data set from Kaggle, but maybe my friend from the core team will be share the link of the data set. And what's the difference between traditional programming and machine learning? In traditional programming, you will need rules and data. So what the meaning of rules, and what is the data, and what is traditional programming? So maybe all of us here, most of all, maybe for the first time, we learn about programming in C programming, C#, or anything else. Maybe most of all people also learn programming in, I don't know, you learn this or not, but I for the first time I use C++ and C programming because I'm from electrical engineering. So C programming is used for build in microprocessor, or maybe this is like Arduino and not MCU, or ESP for Wi-Fi connection or IoT connection. And then the traditional programming is built like C programming, but this is not C programming or C# programming, not. But if you are learn about expert system, maybe you know about expert system, or in Bahasa Indonesia is sistem pakar. So the expert system is make like you need to you must to have rules, like if object is hand and rock and scissor and do X. If object hand is hand and scissor, so do the process Y. And if the object hand have a rules, paper and scissor, do the process Z. This is like that. This is traditional programming, but this is not if else or if statement of maybe in Bahasa is percabangan. No, this is not not equal like C programming or C# programming, but this is more suitable like expert system. Okay, so in machine learning, this is different, not like traditional programming. In machine learning, you must have a validation set image and training set image. And according to these two data, validation and training image, you will produce a model or rules. So the model or rules is not created by ourselves, but the model or rules will be created by the data. This is very according to the data you use at the training process. So if you are talking about rock, paper, and scissors game, maybe in Bahasa or Indonesia, it's told by Gamsut, I think. Is that right? I'm forget the name. But if I'm not mistaken, the name is Gamsut in Indonesian. Okay. But I don't know if this game is also have in Japan or Thailand, but I get this data set from Kaggle. And how data and label can produce a model or rules. So if you know about the real dimension, Jenkenpon. Okay, I don't know what is Jenkenpon, Mr. Musa, but it's okay if in Japan is have this game. Okay, at this point, how the data and label can produce a model or rules. So as we know, the image like this, this is the Caesar image. This is have a width and height, or in matrix, you know, this is like a row and column. So this is measured in px or pixel, and then what the meaning of bit depth, what the meaning of 3 channels. As we know, the image in the normally is called by red, green, and blue, or RGB. So red is represent for H bit, and for the G is H bit, and for the blue is H bit. So if we summarize of this number of the layers, we will have 24 bit in each of pixel. So if you have 300 of the width and 200 of the height, so you can calculate the total of bit is 300 multiplied by 200 and multiply also by 24. So this is the total number of bit you have in one of picture. So the image this is can be measured from 0 to 255. Why? Because you can see this in Photoshop. If in Photoshop you will be see 0 to 255. This is the color of distribution of in image in red, green, and blue. And then to convert this to the binary image, you just only to divide it by 255. And this is the idea of the machine learning. So the image or the image in the the image from a tree kernel or RGB image will be converted to the numerical or matrix, or you can say this is like a matrix. You have the distribution of number if from 0 to 255, and after you have the number of color distribution, you need to convert this to the binary, or you know, binary is 0 1 0 1 0 1. This is the image in binary, and then you need to make sure you will have a main data set or all of the data you have about paper, scissor, and rocks. You have the main data. For example, you have 100 main data. So you need to divide this data to training data and validation data. For the training data is 75%, but this is this is just usually, not be always. You can change this. This is not a standard, but usually it's just 75% for the training data and 25% for validation data. This is not be always, but just only usually. Okay. So this is the idea how data and label can produce a model or rules in machine learning. And after you divided the training data and validation data, you will be do a process is a training process, and then this is the example of traditional programming, and this is the example of machine learning, how to produce rules. Okay, so I hope you all in the laptop, so we can open our Google Colab right now. So I will back to my browsers. So if you are if you don't know about the Google Colab, so Google Colab is this like a cloud engine from Google. These facilities can produce a model of machine learning, and this is support in Python programming. You just type it out. The name is Google Colab or Colab Research. You can open like this, but you can also open from your drive like this. So you just open your email, and I hope you can open it. You open it your drive and make a folder. For example, I create a new folder here is Introduction to Machine Learning. Okay, you just open up this folder, and you can choose of Google Colaboratory here. And then in this session, you just click this Google Colaboratory, and you will have this is like Jupyter Notebook or VS Code if you are using a VS Code. So we just waiting to loading these interfaces. So anyone here have a problem until this session? If there's any more questions, please rise up, or you can type it out on the chat box. Is there any questions? Okay. What's the difference between training data and validation data? Okay, so the training data and validation data, what's the difference from Gilang? Okay, what's the difference between training data and validation data? So the training data is the data you need to insert to training process, and validation data is the, okay, I will back to the slide. So okay, it's okay. Okay, so what's the difference between training validation and training data? Okay. In the training data is the image, you need to insert this to the algorithm. So you have an algorithm here, or this is more suitable is if we call this by more architecture. Architecture. In architecture, we can use several methods. It's like CNN or convolutional neural network, SVM or support vector machines, and maybe the methods is artificial neural network. So you will have this architecture. For example, we are using artificial neural network or multi-layer perceptron or MLP. From the training data here, you need to insert this to the algorithm, and then the validation data will be test the image, and we can make sure the validation data here is not insert also in training process. So the image for validation and training image is different. I think like that. Gilang, is that clear, or maybe any more questions from you? So the image for the training data for training process and validation process is different. You cannot if you are using the same image for the training and validation, the model is it can be decided by overfitting. How do we know which data comes where when? How do we know which data comes where when training the data? How do we know which data comes where when the training data goes where? Okay. How do we know which data comes goes where when the training data? How do we know? Okay. Is the question where the data will be go at the training process? Is that your questions, Gilang? I mean, how do we difference with input? Okay. Okay. How we can make difference for the image? Okay, I gathered your questions. So we can divide this data in manually, or you can also use the algorithm to more easy to use. But in this session, I will try to make sure to divide the data by the algorithm. So we cannot we not divide the data in manually. So for example, you have 100 data and you divided this data to training and validation in manually. So you have 25 data in validation set, and you have 75 image for the training image. So we will not divide this data in manually, but we will try to divide data in automatically by Python. So for the first time, I will not use the data set, but I will try to build what in machine learning is have the name is loss or accuracy. So I will give the example what is the loss and how the loss function is will be works in the machine learning. Okay, Gilang, maybe your question will be answered at the practical lessons. I will try to give your example, but after this session, yeah. First time I will try to explain about loss function and why the machine learning have a loss. So what do we need to do about loss in machine learning? Okay. Okay. So for the first time, you need to insert your library. This is like a TensorFlow, Numerical Python, or NumPy and Keras. Also in several library, you need to insert this to the algorithm. Okay. Yeah, for Indonesian participant, if you are want to asking about machine learning in Bahasa, you are allowed, and I will try to answer this in Bahasa also. Okay, I will continue this session. So you can give the name for this Google Colab in here. For example, this is like intro part 1. Okay, this is the name. And then, excuse me. Okay. You have also a code and text. So if you are running code, this is will be running likely this is like a code normally. But if you choose the text, for example, insert the library. Okay. After you run, the interface is will be like this. So you can also to change the position by you just need click this area and you click the move cell down. Okay, this is how to move the cell in Jupyter, in Google Colab. So you need to insert the library. For the first time, I will import the TensorFlow. TensorFlow as TF. Okay, it can be run, but I will insert also another library. Okay, let's see why. Okay. To accelerate your computation or your process, you can also activate the GPU computation in Google Colab, but you cannot hope too much because we are using a free of Google Colab. So the speed and computation is not more fasting than your GPU if you have a GPU in your computer. So you can click in this area, RAM and disk. You just click this and you can change runtime types. And for the hardware accelerator, you have 2 options, GPU, TPU. You choose GPU. Okay, just click save. And then, okay, manage the session. Terminates. Okay. Okay, so you have a GPU here. You can check what's the GPU you are using in this session of the Google Colaboratory. You just type NVIDIA SME minus L. Oh, why? I think I run how many session in here? Oh, sorry. I just opened more than one tabs for. Oh, Okay. Oh, I see that. Okay, I will terminate this session. Okay, no active session. You cannot access the Google Colab if you are have more than one process. So you need to reconnect. Okay. Okay, it was connected. So I will, okay. The GPU is activated. So I will run this. Okay, you have Tesla T4 for the GPU at GPU 0. And then we will insert the libraries right now. So I will put it down, the library session. After you import the TensorFlow, you need to import another library we need to use in machine learning. This is NumPy. Import NumPy as NP. Okay, and then you need to import from TensorFlow. From TensorFlow, you need to import Keras. So what is Keras and what is TensorFlow? I will explain after this. And then you need to import sequential. From Keras.models, import sequential. And you need to import also a layer. Layer is the what you will make an architecture. So you need a layer, or the sequential of layer. You need to make this architect. From Keras layers, import dense. So dense layer is we will make perceptrons or multi-layer perceptrons. So we need to insert the dense layer, and then we also need matplotlib. This is important to make a visualization. Matplotlib pyplot splt. Okay, so we need to import. Oh no, we didn't need a scalar in here. Okay, after this, we need to run this. Okay, I will run this session. Okay, for me, successfully. If you are have any trouble in your code, please mention on the chat box, or you can speak also to me in Bahasa or in English. Then we make the architecture by this code. So you type this model. So we type is sequential. We type is dense. Then so dense is multi-layer perceptrons, and I will try to explain in image after this session. We declare the number of units. For example, we are using 2 units, and we need to declare the input shape. For example, is 1. Okay. For example, is 1. You can also, okay, I will use 1 for the example. Dense layer, 3 units. Okay, the units is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, I think we have okay. After this session, after you run this code, you need to insert the simulation of dataset. This is not the dataset, but this is just like I will simulate how the machine learning works, and what the idea of the machine learning, what loss and what the accuracy. But I will explain just loss in this session. And if you are using real dataset, after we try this code, you can see what the accuracy and what is loss. So x and p dot array. Okay, so this is like array numerical. So okay, I will use this is seems like in this PPT. Okay, Okay, I will use this numerical 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 0, 0.0, 0.0, and then 1.0. You have also 2.0 and 3.0. Okay. Okay, and for the X, you will have np.array. Okay. np.array minus 2.0. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Minus 2.0 and 1.0, 4.0, and then you will have also 7.0. Okay, this is not equal. Minus 4. Wait, I will try to equal this. Minus 4, minus 1, minus 1, and then you have also 2.0, 5.0, and 8.0. Okay, we need to add the declaration of the type. This is just the type. This float. The type is float, equal to float. That this is a type of data. You have a float, double, and integer. And then after this section, you need to compile your model by this text is model compile, and model compile. You insert also the optimizer. I will use Adam. Okay. You will have more than this is in machine learning. They have more than one of optimizer, like Adam, SGD, and I'm forget the name of the optimizer. This is too much, but I usually to use Adam optimizer. And for the loss, I will use mean squared error. Loss is mean squared error. Okay. And then you run this code. Then you need to save your data. Because we will try to visualize this to graph. Yeah. So you need to save this data to the variable, to the local variable. So we'll use model fit is equal to model.fit X, Y, and I will be set the epoch is, for example, is 1000. Okay. The epoch I will be set for 1000. So we run this code. Okay. Yeah, X did not define. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. So when you start your training process, you will have height of loss parameters like this. You have 34 loss parameters, or this is like this is more higher than 100%, or we will see until 1000 epochs, how the loss can be decreased. So we need to write this. Okay, so you just have 18. Okay, so after this, you need to visualize the model, but whoa, I'm sorry. What's model? Okay, now, okay, so you need to visualize the not model, but how the graphic can be visualized in here. So plt.plot. you can type this model fit. You need to call the variables you have been created before. Okay. Model fit. You need to call back the model the variable you have been created before, the model fit, and you need to, the name is history, and also, oh god, yes, this is like loss function. Then label, and the label is for example is training loss. Okay, so enter this. Okay, so you plt.legend. Also, you need to plt.show. So you need to plt.save fig, as the name is loss file. Okay, invalid syntax. So plot model. plt.plot model fit.historical, model fit.history. The name is loss function, comma label. Okay, we got it. Okay, so this is the training loss. So at the training loss, this is work. The name is gradient descent. So this can. So what is the gradient descent? So if you are training the if you are run the training process for the first time, so the data you have been insert to the algorithm will be test the data from the validation data, or we can say this is, for example, is X is we are simulate as training, and Y is validation. So this data from X variable will be tested by the data from Y or validation data in Y variable. So the data from training and validation is different. I think like that. I think like this for the answer from Gilang questions before. And then this is the visualize how the training loss is work, or how the algorithm can be worked in machine learning. Our focus here, how to make sure the loss is close to 0 and the accuracy is close to 1. Okay, so this is the idea of the machine learning. If the training loss is higher, your model is cannot be reliability. Your model is cannot predict. Your model cannot be predict as well, or maybe your model is can be worked to predict image if the image is have noise, have a noise. I think that's the idea of the machine learning. Okay, is there any problem with the code? I hope all of you can run this code. Okay, I will share this code to the chat box. Anyone with this link, copy link. Okay, this is the code. You can use this code for your learning source, and then we will go back to the slide. So, what is the TensorFlow library? So, what the Keras definition? TensorFlow library is a library we are used to build a machine learning model. So this is supporting for numerical computation and library to build the machine learning model. And then what is Keras? So Keras library is we are using here to define a sequential layer of the neural network or multi-layer perceptron. Or in this code, we can see what is the this is the declaration of the library, and then Keras is used for sequential layer here. At this code, you can see the layer is okay. Now, this is the how to works the Keras. Okay, Keras library. And then this is the architecture of this model. First, the model is the model is sequential, have one layer is have a one perceptron, and the units is 2. So what is units in here? I will explain this in PPT in PowerPoint. So okay, you can see this. So in dense layer, you have 2 units. So the idea for this session is how to explain in imaginary. For example, you will have 2 inputs or 2 phases. For example, risky phase and Eka phase. Okay, you have 2 class here. So if you have a 2 class here, what is dense layer, or what's the meaning of 2 units here? So after this image is converted to the binary, or this is to matrix row, your data from the phase will be inserted to the algorithm, and then the dense layer here will be worse. This is like you have one dense layer here, so you have one node point here. We just have 2 units in here. It's called by dense 1, dense 1. Okay, dense 1. You have 2 units. So the number of unit will be declared will be as you can see here. This is the units. But if you have more than one dense layer, for example, this is dense 2. You have 3 units. So the dense 2, you will be have after dense 1, 3 units. Okay, and then it will be connected here, and it will be connected each of another of node layer. So it will be integrated, and it will be decide what the positioning is more be suitable to decide this. Is this risky phase or Eka phase? Okay, maybe to explain this to more easy, I will explain in the next code. Okay, I will go back to the Colab. So wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, intro part 2, and I go back to the drive. More, which is Google Colaboratory. Okay, I need to terminate this session, or you cannot run this code again. Okay, disconnect and delete runtime. Okay, yes. Okay, so you can connect this session. This is introduce part 2. Okay, so at the introduce part 2, I think you have more than one. The code is more. You have much code here, so I think I can give to you for the code I was being created before. Maybe my core team, do you have a code I've been created before? Rizky Maula or Gilang, do you have the code? Okay, I will share this code. Simulation for prediction. Okay, I have the code, so you can run this Google Colaboratory, but I hope you cannot I hope you copy and paste this code to your new of Google Colaboratory. So first you need to download our the dataset. Gilang maybe or Rizky Maula can share the material or the dataset. Okay, this is the material. So the material is not large. Oh no, don't share to direct message to me. You need to share this to everyone. Okay. You just download this part. Okay, just 4 megabyte. And then you need to extract this here. Okay, extract here. Okay, you have dataset and data test. So go back to your drive. Okay, introduction to machine learning. So you just upload your folder here. Less than 1 minute. Okay, I will go to the simulation here. So you can copy this code to the new Google Colaboratory. So we have several libraries here. These are Flatten, Dance, and import CV2. And then you can run this code. And what is the sequence and what is the activation, flatten, and dance. So I will explain this when I run this code. And what is Adam optimizer here? Because we need to optimizer is Adam. So I need to call this optimizer from TensorFlow class. And then you can copy this to this Google Colaboratory. This is the name. I will change this to English version. This is for binaries. This is for create a label. And this is to split the data set. So you can divide the data to train and validation automatically. And what is the classification report? So this is for performance measurement. So you can evaluate the model of machine learning by F1 score, accuracy, recall, and precision. And what is the PL image? So the PL image is one of the library to process or load the image. Okay, you need to run this code. And then after this code has been run, you need to click here. And then you have files at this header. And you need to upload to station storage and refresh. And also you have mount drive. So you need to click mount drive. But if you are click the mount drive, you need to ensure you have been logged in to your Gmail or your mail institution. From Untirta, you can use mail of Untirta, but from Japan, I don't know, is your email is support to Google Colab. But if your email institution is not support to Google Colab, you can use personal email. Because your personal email, it can be connected to Google Colab. Okay, after mount process is successfully, you will see the drive in here. So you can access your drive from here. Okay. And then you need to copy this code. Okay. After you copy this, I need to change the code because the location for the image of dataset is different. So we back to the introduction to machine learning. This is my drive, introduction to machine learning. So we change this code. We change to my drive GSD code. Introduction to machine learning / to dataset. we have data test and data set. Okay. If you are successfully, you will see info loading image, and you will be see how the works of the algorithm to change this to binary number. Okay, this is the image. This is ROP, and this is the visualized in binary. But this is not represent all of the image. Just one of image randomly, because too much image to process in this session. And then after this, you need to make your model. Okay, this is our architecture. You have two dense layer here. The first dense layer is 20, and the second layer is flattened layer, and the third of dense layer have 40 nodes or units. And the last, you have 3 units here. And why the activation is different between the first layer and the last layer? Because Rayleigh activation is used at the sequential layer or the process layer of the training, but the softmax activation is like sigmoid. I will explain this in the PowerPoint. Okay, so you have softmax activation. So what is softmax activation? So in our data set here, you will have rope, paper, and scissor. Okay, so you have more than one of classes here. For example, this is like class 1, like on teachable machine, and this is class 2, and this is class 3. You have 3 classes here. So softmax activation will be accelerate the convergence of the models by using this activation function. So this is the activation function. And then you have also sigmoid. What's the difference between softmax and sigmoid? Sigmoid is more is used to binary classification. So this is just like maybe to decide this is fast or not. Fastmax. If you are using fastmax or not use, like that. Maybe this is the example of the using of the sigmoid for fastmax classification. But softmax is more is using for multi-class classification, or basically it is more than 2 classes. For sigmoid is just for 2 classes or binary classification. And then after you make your first model, you can also add or you can also change the units number. But for me, I will not change anything here. You can run this. Okay, and then you can summary this model summaries. You can see the summaries of model, like the total of parameters and how much the trainable parameters and non-trainable parameters. For the non-trainable parameters will be explained in transfer learning and convolutional neural network. And for the total parameters here is the number how much the parameters will be trained at trainable parameters. So we have more than 4 million here. And then we need to compile this, so you can copy this code. We are using categorical cross entropy for the loss function here. And for the optimizer is Adam, and matrix accuracy is accuracy. You compile this, and you need to save your data after train and validation process to age variable. Okay. For the epoch, I will be set to 20 because we are limited by time. Okay, so this is the process of training process in machine learning. Actually, for real data set, for if you are using an image, I will add to you after this. Okay. I need to wait the training process is finished. Okay. Is anybody persons here can tell me is the training is good or not? Okay. Is anybody here can tell me is the training process is good or not? Anyone's can tell me is the training process is good or not according the result parameter? Okay, why not good? Maybe from informatics student because the accuracy is 0.3. Okay. Because the accuracy. Okay. Anything else? If you have a word to be mentioned, please mention. Is it good or not for the training process? Okay, so if you are measure of the machine learning, we have 4 parameters here at training process. The first is loss, and the second is accuracy. And then we have also validation loss and validation accuracy. So for a good model, you need to make sure you have, I will be make this loss, this is validation loss, and this is accuracy, and this is validation accuracy. For the loss and validation loss, you need to score close to 0. It need to be close to 0. And for the accuracy and validation accuracy, it need to be close to 1. Okay. If as you can see here, the validation accuracy is 0.2, and for the validation loss is more than 1. So this model is bad. I think if you are continue this model, we cannot have a good prediction. So I think I will retraining. I will simplify the model. I changed the unit at the third layer to 15. Okay, not value change too much. It's okay. Okay, so according the result, so our models here or our architecture from dense 20 units and flatten and dense for 15 units, it's not a good architecture to solve the problem of rock, scissor, and paper games. So this is your task or your quest, how to produce a good model and how to obtain an accuracy more than 90%. So I will continue this because we are limited by time. We need to plot the history of the accuracy and loss, and then we have measurement here for the graph evaluation. Okay, this is training loss and validation loss. As you can see here, the validation loss is close to 1, and this is very bad. This is not good for machine learning. So we will try to plot the accuracy here. Okay, for the accuracy, I think this is a bad idea to use this model, to use this architecture to solve this problem about scissor, paper, and rock games. So if you are make a measurement report by F1 score, precision, and recall, you will have, okay, this is bad measurement. Okay, this is bad measurement. you don't have this is very, very bad measurement, because you just have I think 0.00 is very bad of measurement of F1 score. So according my previous training here, I have more than, I think I have 80% of F1 score accuracy in 3 classes, but it's okay. It's okay. Okay, I will try to predict the image so we can run this code, and then we need to insert the labelization in here. But you make sure the input size on prediction, it is must be equal at the first when we declare the image. The declare of image when the training process is 75. So when you predict the image, you need to convert this to 75. Okay, so you can predict this each of image, or all of the image from the folder. You can predict it also. Okay, I need to change this code because we have in different position for the folder in my drive. Okay, intro to machine learning, JDSC code, intro to machine learning. Remove this data test and Caesar1, Caesar3 data test, and we have a Caesar3. So what is the Caesar3? Okay, can we predict this image? I think it's not. No, just file the directory that set to the intro machine learning content. Enggak deh, data test. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Introduction to machine learning. Okay, it's classified by paper, 35%. So I think it can be predicted also, but the score is very low. Okay, we try to another parts of the code. Okay, so we will try to predict all of the image from this folder. I will go back to my code. This is introduction to machine learning. Data test, and we need to declare the label also, Caesar, rock, and paper. Okay, can we predict this image? I think it's not. Okay, we cannot predict this image, but it's okay for me. Not all of the test image can predict with the bad model, so still below or not. Okay, it's okay. But if we change this to Caesar2, okay, no predicted image. Oh, 1001001. Not predicted. Caesar, rock, and paper. Caesar, rock, and paper. Yeah, because of the bad of the model, we cannot predict the image more suitable. But you can optimize. You can optimize the model by you make your self architecture for this. Yeah, you can make your self architecture for this layer. Maybe you can add more layer, or you can change the layer here. You can also add, for example, like model and sorry, my battery. Okay, model adds and dance layer, maybe 25, and activation is ReLU. You can change also the model, and you can copy also, and you can change the units only. Okay, I think this is for our session today about introduction to machine learning. For the quest right now, this is for Untirta student. Please build your first machine learning model and submit your work. With the requirement is use 3 classes. You need use to click 3 class. For example, you can use rock, paper, and scissor game, or maybe you can use your face, your mother face, or your father face. So I need to make sure you need to use 3 class. And if you want to use more than 3 class, you need to change this from 3 to 4, for example, if you are using 4 class. If you are using 5 class, you need to change this to 5. Why? Because, for example, you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, you have this is node 1 or hidden layer 1. You have node 2 is flattened layer. So what is the flattened layer? So the flattened layer will be convert your image from matrix version, or from matrix version to array session. So this is like 1 column and 1 row. So we will make this flatten. This is the flattened layer. Okay, so this is the node 2. You have 15 units, and this is node 3. You have 25 unit, and after you calculate this, you need to make sure this to make output model layer. So if you are using 5 classes, you need to make sure you have 5 output layer also at the end of the layer. So you have 1 layer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after you run, after you make hidden layer here, you need to make sure the output will be here. For example, so the softmax activation will be divided. For example, the class 1 is 0.2, and the class 2 is 0.4, class 3 is 0.5, class 4 is 0.7, and class 5 is 0.9, like this. So each of class have a self unit, have a unit to decide is this the phase of Eka, or is this the phase of Rizky, or anything else an object you use at this machine learning. So this is the quest. You need to use 3 class, and the epoch must be more than equal to 50. Can I use 100? Yes. 200? Yes. But if you are using 25, this is can be submitted for our first work. How long this quest will be conducted? So this quest is you can submit your work in 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. And the highest score of accuracy, F1 score, and the basically from measurement classification, you will have you can be highest score. So you will get a full point for this quiz. Okay, I think that's it from me about introduction to machine learning. If there's any questions, I will try to answer. You can type it out on the chat box, or maybe you can also to speak up and open up your microphone.
Okay, thank you very much, Eka, for giving an informative and interesting presentation. Well, now we come to the question and answer session. I open 3 questions in this session, and participant can use the raise hand features or can write it in the chat.
Excuse me, can we request the Zoom record? Yes, you can request this Zoom record, because for the Zoom record will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So all of you can access this video from YouTube channel for the workshop session. Any more questions? In our YouTube channel, we have currently we have 6 video.
Gila.
Any questions, please? Maybe on the chat box, you can type it out. Yeah, Rizky.
Okay, thank you, Bang. I want to ask about things that can affect the difference in accuracy for training data and validation data, where the training accuracy value is higher than the validation accuracy. Thank you.
Okay, is this okay. So your question is about train accuracy is more higher than validation accuracy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so basically validation set image is different image from the training process. So I think to obtain training accuracy is more higher than validation accuracy. This situation is I think it is like usually to conducted, but when the validation accuracy is more higher than training accuracy, this is I never see this. I don't know this is you see this or not, but for the question is can we obtain this situation? Maybe yes, but usually for the training process or training accuracy is more higher than validation accuracy. But for the validation accuracy to be more higher than training accuracy, I think I cannot say the word is this possible or not, but according my previous experiments, for the validation accuracy is lower than training accuracy. So it can be equal to 1, because I think this is possible to make sure your model is 100% is very good or excellent. I think is it possible to obtain this, but is this affected to our model? The more higher of validation and training accuracy, it can be affected to your model. So your model can be predicted more suitable than lower accuracy. But if you are talking about overfitting, underfitting, I think this is will be explained from Rizky Maula at the next session when we talk about convolutional neural network.
Okay, Bang. Thank you for your answer.
Okay.
Because I often experience the gap between train accuracy and validation accuracy is something is sometimes very large.
Yeah, but that's true. So to obtain the best accuracy, I think this is very lucky. So you can for example you have a same model like me, but you compute on your laptop and I compute on my laptop, or maybe I compute 3 times. Can I obtain the same values of measurement? The answer is not. So when I train at the first time when at the same model, maybe I will get 90, but at the second time when I train this model, maybe I can obtain 85, and when the last of the training my model, maybe I can obtain the result is 95. I don't know why this can be conducted, because this is very affected by the situation of computation, because the number of the neuron is a very this is very randomly. For example, in convolution layer, the matrix filter or the matrix filter for convolution process is very randomly to produce. Sometimes you have 1, 2, and 3, but sometimes also you will have -1, 4, 5, and 7. It will be explained by you, Rizky, because this is very tricky, and if you have a good model, I think you need to save this and make sure your model is not missing, because if you are missing your model, you cannot obtain the same measurement for the twice.
Okay, thank you, Bang, for your.
Okay.
Is there any question from participant?
Any recommendation when we got low accuracy? Do we only have to add more layers and raise the epoch, or any tips, please? Thank you. Okay. So I think to add more layers, it will be give more trainable parameter, because the layer is can be affected to trainable parameters. But if we are raise of, or maybe increase the number of epoch, it just give more time. This is like if this is just give more time to compute more longer time. So I don't have any recommendation, because we don't have a global solution to solve this problem, because in machine learning is very tricky. And maybe if you are running for the, when I talked before, if you are training for the first, maybe you can obtain an accuracy is 90, and the second for the training session is 95. And I don't know why can be we don't have any global solution. So Vanka, I think you need to try again, because we don't have any recommendation when we get a low accuracy. But my suggestion is, if your model is too low, I can make sure your model or your architecture is not suitable with your problem. For example, for image processing or to image classification, maybe when you are using the image with highest of noises, I think the convolution, the more of layer can be work, because it will be extract more features. But if you are using simply image, or like this is like the image without noise, without anything noises, I think simply model can be works. But the epoch, this is just give more time to compute again. I think like this, Vanka. Default not Gilang. I see, thank you. Okay. So is there any way to decide what to add, remove, adjust part of the model to obtain good accuracy result? How do we know, or how big should we adjust epoch, a failure to obtain the most efficient result without using more time? Okay. So if you are talking about how we can decide, this is how maybe if your questions about how we can choose a good model here. Okay. Okay, Gilang, for your questions, I think like this. You know, a paper, I think this way is illegal in my country, also in Japan. If you are access the journal or maybe the proceeding from international conference from Sci-Hub, but you can see the architecture from the previous research or previous work, and you can make a layer like the paper have been created. So I think you will have an accuracy or measurement evaluation close to result from the paper. I think see the previous work is necessary in machine learning. And is there any way to decide what to add, remove, adjust part of the good to obtain good accuracy result? I think if you are using transfer learning is the solution. Okay, so the transfer learning is a convolutional neural network or deep learning. So this is model has been trained by other people. For example, GoogleNet. This model is training by Google developer. So you know, Google have biggest of cloud computing. So for training the biggest model is very possible for them. But for us, for training much data is very impossible, because we don't have any source, or maybe our device is not suitable for make biggest computation. And then how do we know or how big salt we adjust epoch value to obtain the most efficient result without using more time? How do we know or how big salt we adjust epoch value to obtain the most efficient result? Okay. For the best epoch, as my experience before, usually we are using 100, but several people is more prefer to use 150, 200. But if you are using under the 50 of epoch, I think to write this on the paper is I don't know this is accepted or not, but according my previous experience, the number of epoch is 150, 150, 200, 500. Yeah, because if you are just using 10 epochs or 20 epochs and you obtain the best accuracy, I don't know this is a real score or maybe this is just like when your model is need more time for the computation, because I will try to explain this with my note. Okay, I will share my screen. Oops. Okay, so if you are using 20 epochs, so and you have this is, for example, is accuracy 1, 5, 0.5, and this is 0. And when we are using 20 epochs, and you have like this, but if you are using 100 of epochs, at the same model, we can make assumption here. This is a same model. We are using 100 of epoch, but until when you on the 50 epoch, your accuracy will be like this. Is this good model or not? And all of us and most of people will decide this is a bad model because your model is underfit. So if you are when you on 100 epoch and your model still on the number or close to 1, okay, this is the 50 and this is the 100 epoch. And when the number of epoch is on 100 and you are close to 1, so we can decide this is a convergence or convergence. So this is a good model. Okay. And maybe in physics engineering, yeah, for example, if you are measure the gravity, the gravity is 8.1, and when you measure again, maybe it 9.8.2, 9.8.5 maybe. Now, okay, according this result, I think to decide this is 9.81 is difficult because the other result is difference, not like the first result. I think give a more time. You make to add more measurement of the gravity to obtain the result equal to 9.81. So this is the wise to check is your model is convergence or not. So if you are using just 20 epochs or 50 epochs and you have best accuracy until 1, I think this is difficult to trust this model is good, or to trust this model is good, because the time of computation is very shortly. I think it can be increased the number of epochs. I think like this, Gilang. See the previous work or see the paper is the best ways to decide is this model good or not, because from the previous paper is have several measurement like event score, accuracy, and precision. So according to this result from the paper, I think it can be your maybe this is the assumption. If you are using this model, you will have measurement close to the paper result. Okay.
Okay, maybe there are no more questions. And we have finally come to the end of learning session. Before I close the learning session, I would like to take the conclusion from what the speaker has presented. Machine learning is a form of technological development that allow computer programs to learn and develop all that they have. Machine learning is based on the process of training and validation to create a rule, in contrast to traditional programming, which use rules and data to create answer. I would like to thank the speaker for the informative and interesting presentation, and all the participants for the very active participation. But before that, it will be better if we document today's event. Can you on your camera, please? Okay.
Okay, any more persons want to on your camera? We will wait
Okay.
for 1 minute to wait the other people to on your camera. Okay, in my slide, we have one slide because I was activated for 49 participants in each of slide. I will screenshot this. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again. Okay, please, if you want to freestyle. Okay, ready? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, thank you very much. Go back to Rizky Maula. The time is yours.
Okay. Don't forget for our participants to share the excitement at this event on your social media, and don't forget to tag Pedestrian Tirta. Thank you, everyone. See you at the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.